And we're on to the first set of this series between Shopify Rebellion and Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Two of their best players here in the bottom left hand corner. It is Byun as a blue Terran. His opponent in the red for Dragon Phoenix Gaming is the Zerg player Dark. Incredible way to start off this series, this best of 7. First, it's gonna be just a best of 2 between those two players. 3 players for each team, as you guys well know. It's a team effort, and those two teams, they do have some pretty decent players, don't they? Starting off, of course, with 2 of their best one, arguably. It's gonna be very interesting to see how this very similar style of playing the game will clash in this best of 2. The legends of StarCraft 2. Very aggressive players, both of them, in very different ways. But we will see. In the meanwhile, just this little drone scouting for proxies, something that Byun has shown us in the past he can be very capable at. A little bit of a weird Rex positioning. Quite possibly to just hide from the Overlord his first few units, but it's just very weird. Like, you can't be very reactive with this. Like, anything to the likes of a 16 pool with 6 lanes scouting around, yeah, you don't do anything about that. Those lanes are just gonna run amok in your base. Which is not going to happen this game. It definitely can. But actually coming right up for Dark. The lanes being spread around to get a little bit of map control, a little bit of vision. It's a 2-1-1 apparently for Byun, with the second Rax incoming in the factory halfway through as well. A little bit of a blast from the past. As you can see, 4 Marines already there to stop the lane from getting scouting. It's way too late, but the Rax positioning to matter. So Byun is just gonna stop the scouting out of Dark. Both the Overlord and the lanes not getting that base. Of course, seeing these many Marines should already be a little bit of a tell for Dark, who definitely didn't expect less from his opponent than to be very aggressive with early bio. That's just the way Byun plays. It's never gonna change. And we're thankful for that, let's all be honest. Seeing these men micro his Medivacs and his Marines is just something out of this world. See Roach Warren as a reaction out of Dark, which is very, very interesting. Could be many reasons to go Roach Warren in this position, to be honest. I don't think Dark expects too much out of these Marines. Like, otherwise, most Zerg players just drop down 2 Evo Chambers, they get their lair up, they have like 20 lanes, defend with those, and then just get those upgrades up and be content with it. It's not something that we see a lot lately, because we don't see a lot of 2-1-1 lately. But Roaches against it? That sounds pretty new. It's not gonna be a +1 timing. It's just gonna be like the very, very standard 2 Medivacs 5 minutes timing. Again, a blast from the past. So these Marines are not gonna do like that great into the Roaches. Of course, Steam and just the straight up numbers of the Marines are always something the Roaches have very big problems dealing with. But it's not like those are +1 Marines. It's 23 Marines though, against 9 Roaches, yikes. 5 more Roaches incoming. These Queens do have a little bit of energy, a couple transfuses are available. But of course, these medivacs can heal for far longer. You can see these roaches already starting to trade not so well into the Marines, especially in trouble once those Marines start to go around from the main base to the third base, especially with this position from the bases of Dark. Very exploitable by Byun. And with these roaches, he doesn't really have the most mobile army to chase these things around. He still has a pretty clean defense, losing only 4 drones and a couple roaches. But I seriously doubt this is the end of Byun's aggression. 3 command center incoming as well. Now it's tanks time. With steam being done, more factories can be, more racks can be added to those reactors unused so far. A couple of Ravagers will try to drop the piles on top of the medivacs. Byun is paying attention. He won't be caught with his pants down. A constitutional Glial on the way as well for the Zerg player. While another medivac flies into the main with a Winnow Mine dropping down and getting the kill on a queen. Oh, but boy, those queens were just targeting that one medivac for a very long time. And it died before it could transport anything out of that base. Dark in a very good position right now. His grid spread is looking good. His unit production is looking good. His economy is looking very, very good. And Byun just struggling to find the damage he was looking for with a build that doesn't really scale into late game. This build is designed to do damage at this stage. You can see those upgrades are incredibly late compared to what you see normally in a ZVT. And Dark has already some investors in production, as well as his own upgrades, of course. You see these incredibly late link speed. Of course, once you get to Hive Tech, link speed is it's a given. Like, you need to have those adrenal glands links available just for how strong they are. And cheap, of course, and all the things that come with links. And this metabolic boost being this late could be a little detrimental to Dark. Byun again on the lookout. But his bio army, he still needs to deal damage. This is a very good opportunity. This archery is not like super well defended. But without +1/+1, these Marines just do not trade that well, even into roaches. Dark taking a page out of the Book of Su. Oh, the piles! Barely missed those medivacs. Byun fast enough to recover from that spot. Look at that in the making. With +1 ranged and +1 carapace ongoing for Dark, as well as his Hive almost finished. Byun starting +2/+2 immediately after his first upgrades were finished. But it might be too little too late. Dark is already kind of taking full control of his own side of the map and he's getting very strong tech units in not a long time. With investors being already on the field, it could become very difficult for Byun to out-micro the army of Dark just for the straight micro potential that Infestors and Vipers add to the Zerg army compared to just the bio. Like you can see that these fungal growths, they're just inescapable. This bio army is just going to die. Of course, this beautiful drop into the main is gonna deal a lot of damage. Dark wasn't quite paying enough attention to this. Wasn't respecting the multi-prong out of Byun enough. And Byun got off with 8 drones being killed. And we'll be pretty happy with that, considering how low effort his production is right now. And being sieged in the middle of nowhere, Biles already raining from the sky, not able to snipe it. That's quite a lot of Marauders with concussive shells. These Ravagers need to be extra careful. You can see the Roaches not being super able to escape. Oh, but the Fungal plus Bile combo is always so nasty to watch. Dark, perfect spellcaster control once again. And now with Vipers added into the mix, and even Lurkers, like you can see, it's becoming almost impossible for Byun to do anything against this army. Biles upon Biles upon Biles, followed by Abducts, and then some Fungals added into the mix. Byun doesn't really have the space to maneuver. And he's waiting for more reinforcements to come at the doorstep of dark spaces. Just 2 tanks being out right now. Lots of Marauders, which are kind of decent against the Roach Ravager intense army. But with Lurkers, that's a whole other story. There's a lot of Lurkers on the field already. And with Fungal being added in, well, you don't really run away from those. And don't even let me start it on the Ducks. Getting a key unit out of harm's way is going to be basically impossible for Byun. Oh, you can see the parasitic bomb going on top of these Medivacs, forcing them around, and then this Bio not really in the best position. Oh, these Medivacs very bruised. Another parasitic bomb and they're done for. Again, the drop into the main. This time the Spore Caller reacts in time and kills one of the Medivac before he can drop the whole might of his army. Ravager's getting in position to drop down the piles maybe and try to kill his Liberator. In the end is going to be the Hydra and the Spore Caller. Meanwhile, 10 drones being killed, as the observers are showing us. It's not too shabby. Byun actually right now surpassing the supply that his opponent has, which is quite interesting after a game of struggle. Byun might be looking to pull the rabbit out of the hat. He's still not close enough though. Tech is such a huge piece of late game ZVT, and right now, unless these ghosts drop down the perfect EMPs, Dark mismanages his army. There's no way to out-macro Festers and Vipers when he gets to big engagements. Oh, these Lurkers are getting slaughtered though. It's just like, I think Dark lost like 4 Lurkers in exchange for 1 Ghost. That's not great, buddy. Meanwhile, this may become insanely nasty, insanely fast. 3 Lurkers inside a Nidus Worm. Now they have Ducks being dropped onto the Ghosts, and all of the Ghosts immediately explode to those Lurkers, and the Nidus is going up. Oh, this might be trouble for Byun. Oh, that's way more than 3 Lurkers. You can see in the face of the Terran player how afraid he is of what is going on in his base. In the bottom right, you can see, oh my god, that's a lot of damage. That's a lot of lurk. Oh my god, more and more units streaming through the Nidus Worm. Maybe even more Nidus Worm being added to the mix shortly. And those Lurkers, they do not forgive the losses of their fellow drones, avenging them with 27, 30 and counting SCVs killed. And the whole production of Byun is being destroyed. Byun desperately steaming on the ramp, but it's too late. Dark takes game number 1. And we're off to the second set of this best of 2. Here in the bottom right hand corner from Shopify Rebellion, it is Byun. His opponent in the red is the Zerg player, Dragon Phoenix Gaming, Dark. Just won the first game of this best of 7 between those 2 teams. And it was a weird game on his side, to be honest. I was really surprised with his choices throughout the game, but damn were they good. Incredible decision making, as always, out of one of the coldest players out there. Really difficult to shake him off, and Byun's early aggression certainly didn't put Dark off his plan. It's a 16 pool this time. As I was saying in the game before, that Rex positioning is very exploitable if you want to go in with links early on. And as the observer are showing us, Byun is doing that again. But this time, Dark doesn't want to forgive that. Might be a little bit difficult, rush distance. So a little bit longer here. But ooh, whoa. I might edit this a little bit wrong, guys. Yeah, that is not a 16 pool for just the 6 links. Yeah, there's the 6 links. Oh my god, there's 6 links. It's a 16 pool, yeah, whatever. This happens every single time. I don't care anymore. It's just to blind counter proxies, it's okay, I'm alright. And then suddenly, boom, 3 Ravagers at your doorstep, piling down the wall. And if that is going to happen, it's going to be some fun. I haven't seen this build in a while. It is definitely going to happen, like there is absolutely no reason to go for that early Roach Warrior otherwise. But the 16 pool 6 links are actually going to stop that command center for a little while, killing 2 SCVs, not too shabby. Keeping these lanes alive, I feel like he was important though. Maybe Dark just slightly overchased. I get the feeling he thought, I don't need those lanes. I have roaches. Oh, Byun with a counter actually. He might have realized the intentions of his opponent were not so naive. It wasn't just a normal error. There's a cyclone incoming, there's a bunker on the high ground. That is a big commitment to counter, especially what is going on. I don't know about screens, practice partners and stuff such as that, but Byun is the perfect counter to this. I really don't see Dark breaking through. Dark doesn't even have Ravagers at the ready, which is again kind of weird. I'm not too sure about the decisioning of Dark this time. Of course he bought himself a lot of time. Like Byun had to commit a lot of stuff. Dark realizes this and is just back home microing his stuff. He's making quite a lot of links. But we've seen multiple drones come up in his production tab. Oh, that's a lot of links. You know what they say, like, when you lean, don't forget to lean, but that's a third archer. We've seen a lot of drones. This is becoming incredibly weird. Like, you can't support this many links with just 2 archeries. I don't think you need more. It's starting to get very specific, but like 1 archery is going to improve your larva production at this stage of the game. Only if you can afford like probably more than 26 drones. Yeah, I'm not super duper sure about that. Oh, these lanes though, look at them go. Byun basically almost never mined from these natural his, and now he's gonna also be supply blocked for a little while, which honestly does hurt. +1 melee in the making. Dark ready to swarm the map actually. Couple of roaches are gonna try to bring the fight to the Cyclones, but those Cyclones, man, they're fast. They go around in circles around these roaches. Meanwhile, the lanes running amok in the natural of Byun to deal as much damage as possible, stopping a lot of mining time. But now that the Banshee is out, I don't think there's much more these lanes can do. Banshee's getting cloak as well. More queens in the production for Dark, but he's still stuck at those 33 drones right now, which is more than Byun has. But Terra notoriously can run on low economies much better than Zerg does. And that's why rushes and cheeses in this matchup usually tend to be like super duper fast rushes from the Zerg player. You don't just rush for 5 minutes straight without getting something. Byun is getting all his defensive pieces together, and he's not gonna bleed a lot from this. Not as much as Dark will bleed instead. And again, like, these Marines might die. There might be also a couple SCVs down, but I'm still not super sure about this. Byun and Dark even on workers. Yes, Dark has a fur base. Yes, Byun lost a lot of mining time, But this Banshee is still alive. This Banshee might still be looking for kills later on into this game. If it manages to survive, it does manage to survive. And Dark is really pulling the trigger with those Zerglings. Pressing that Z key lots and lots of times. The second Banshee is gonna chime up in the main base of Dark. Actually the first Banshee died. There is a little bit of a misplay on the side of Byun. But he's in a pretty decent spot. I wouldn't say he's super ahead. He still lost a lot of mining time. Dark still has a lot of workers. But Byun clearly has a standing position from which he's... At least he cannot lose now. Like, he might be losing later on, but right now, he perfectly stabilized. Like, there's nothing that can threaten him right now. I'm trying to look for a spot to drop down his Cyclones and deal a little bit of damage. When you find one, a little bit of a bamboozle onto his opponent. These Cyclones do find a spot in between those mineral patches, and they don't deal enough damage to kill that archery, not without Magnified Accelerator, at least. For command center, trying to land in the fur base of Byun. Dark again, really pulling the trigger on his army rather than his economy. 4 drones now in production. Larry is halfway through, but that's a lot of lanes. You don't make this many lanes if you don't want to do something with them. And I'm a little bit unsure about what that something is. They're trying to snag down these workers over here, trying to break down the wall. The wall is going to be up. The wall is not up. The wall is not up, guys. The wall is not up. That is a little bit of a disaster. There's 2 tanks though, and these lanes exploded before they could actually do anything. Now even the SCVs are bringing the fight to the lanes. Like 5 SCVs died, and that's like at least 80 lanes down the sink. Both the Cyclones are still alive. 32 more Zerglings in the making. Dark actually had to cancel that base that was being harassed by Byun with his Cyclones. So now his double expansion is paying off, but he's still at 46 drones Zer player, 9 minutes 30. Yes, he has a lot of lanes, but you've seen those lanes just basically explode. They do deal a lot of damage, they have +1, but they just don't leave long enough to do damage. That's the nature of lanes without any supporting units. At least for this stage of the game. Okay, I can make a point for +3/+3 adrenal glands lanes, but +1/+1, that's a little bit tougher. At least in this matchup. And now this archery is being threatened, and this archery is being threatened as well by the Cyclones. Like, not in a great spot. These Marines are being threatening a little bit too far. A couple of them will die for a greater cause, but Byun is still looking for blood, still looking to drop down these Cyclones wherever he thinks they can deal damage, and they've been such a pain in the back for Dark, such a thorn in his side throughout this whole game. Byun with a perfect read in the early game and a perfect transition to do something out of those units he was building up. And unluckily for Dark, the scene cannot be set for him. His all-in didn't pay off, and now he's pinned in his own side of the map without a strong army to fight back. Slow pain lanes are trying to do something, but you can see that he's Guido mines. Oh boy. A lot of kills. One of the Manivacs will go down, but there's not enough Marines to field to, so just the one will suffice. Trying to get an overload of Sporkler or 2 before heading back. Queens are of course helping a lot, but there's just not enough bulk on the ground. The Banelings trying to get on top of the Marines. They're not very fast. Without Centrifugal Hooks. Centrifugal Hooks are actually about to finish. Like literally about to finish. Well, at the main, it looks like the medivac has been deflected. Another drop going on over here at the 4th base. Wait on my shot. Killing so many lanes, and these marines are just not going down. Finally, Trivial Hooks finishes, and the pain lanes come rolling through. It's not really looking like it's enough though. Most of these bio has survived the impact, and now on 2 different sides, Byun is winning 2 different battles. The pain lanes don't come right up when Dark needs them. Lots of drones, lots of lost mining time, lots of lost Zerglings as well. Byun, relentless aggression, left and right, then left again, faking out every opportunity he has. And with these marines in that cute tiny spot, it's to be so complicated for Dark to fend the Terran off of his own lawn. One of the medivacs is almost recharging his shot, will get only a Hydra. But 11 drones down, and you can see Dark really struggling to give up so far. Not an easy spot to play this game for the Zer player. The early game pretty much just sentenced him from laying behind the whole rest of the game. He didn't manage to do something. And ooh, wait a minute, shot again. There's a lot of Hydras out right now. Those Hydras are not really upgraded though. These Marines truly are. And you can see how well they trade. GG gets cold. Byun is gonna tie up the series.